Comparison is the thief of all joy.
Comparison is a thief of all joy. Why do you like that quote so much?
It teaches you not to compare yourself to others, to live on your own, to find your own uniqueness in the world, your originality. If you're constantly comparing yourself to others, you're striving to live up to their ambitions, to their expectations, to their social norms, and instead of just finding yourself and enjoying yourself for who you are. A lot of what we think others think of us is just in our head. And so taking that step back and not comparing yourself gives you the freedom to enjoy life better.
Absolutely.
Because everyone's different and we need to be appreciated for our differences rather than what makes us all the same. And in the same sense, you want that, but you don't want to compare for it. What makes us similar is we're all human. What makes us different is everything else about us.
Yesterday, I was speaking to a Trump supporter who randomly started talking to me, and like I said, he had really disparaging things to say about certain people, certain groups of people, and I wanted to get past that. I wanted to know why he arrived at those conclusions, and I feel like that's important as to how we arrive at our belief systems, because then that determines what politics we're going to follow. And everyone's different, so everyone's going to fall under a different umbrella. But I'm always looking for what is it that unifies us as a whole, regardless of all those racial and political and class divides. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that makes a big difference in how your perception for the world is, how your perception for others is, so many people are so quick to judge. And it's better not to judge and rather just accept, enjoy, embrace others for who they are. And then you're not making them feel like they have to live up to expectations either.
Absolutely. So I noticed that, and you really you like to espouse good vibes, or that's like your thing.
Absolutely.
Like, you're always saying good vibes, and I really felt your good vibes when I first met you. And but do you think that when someone identifies themselves as having good vibes, do you think that that's a way to make people feel more comfortable with you and what you're all about?
More like making them feel more comfortable about themselves, making them understand that not everybody's out there to be disgruntled or fussy. Some people just need to see the good in people, and giving out those positive, good vibes, like, it sticks with you. And
like you're not here to hurt anyone.
Yeah, and it's influential in its own way to make people see the good in the world.
So you always make a conscious effort?
Yes, I'm definitely an optimist, so I seek out the positive side in everything that I can.
Were you always an optimist?
Yeah.
Even as a child?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
How did becoming a mom change your perception of the world?
Let's see. It did make me probably a little more paranoid of others, just in a way. And I felt like, you want to protect your children. You want to give them a good life, a life that maybe you didn't have, a wholesome upbringing, as best you can. And it made me do a lot of child development research and understanding to try and get a grasp on what I would be putting myself through to make efficient humans for the world.
Efficient humans for the world. I love that. And has it been a battle, or like hasn't been easy to homeschool your children?
Every once in a while, they have rough days. I really believe that about once a week, every month, there is a developmental state of either mental or physical development going on. And the kids tend to get a little grumpy, grouchy, maybe don't listen as good during that time. But teaching them how to work through it in a understanding, respectful way, and showing them the good that they still have around. And then after that week passes, they've learned, they've grown, their development is noticeably different. And being able to homeschool and see them in person every day has really given me a good understanding of the kids too.
What inspired you to want to homeschool your children in the first place?
I feel like a lot of the public school system is not only too focused on technology right now, that they're losing the hands-on grasp, but also testing is really difficult. Not everyone's good at testing, but that doesn't mean that they're not good at the subject. It just means they learn differently. And I want to be able to give them the learning that will make them most efficient. I always felt kind of far behind because my learning was different at home and school versus most kids. And so I wanted to be able to give my kids more of a positive influence. They don't have to deal with bullying. They don't have to deal with being passed up because maybe the teacher thinks they're smart enough not to need help, or that they might not be on the same page, so they get left behind. I wanted them to be able to learn and grow and enjoy learning. And so many in public school, they lose the joy of learning. It becomes obligated. And I like to constantly teach the kids how to enjoy learning.
How old are your kids?
4 and 2. My 4-year-old would be 5 in September, so he's basically almost 5.
Okay. So Piaget calls this stage the preconditional stage, right? And so this is characterized by children beginning to think symbolically and to learning to use words and pictures to represent objects. Also, children at this stage tend to be a little egocentric and struggle to see things from the other's perspectives.
Absolutely.
And while they're getting better with language and thinking, they still tend to think of things in concrete terms, like physical things that they can touch, see, you know. So do you find that this is accurate?
Some. A lot of the imaginative parts come in 2 and 4 also. So they start to get better at play. They start to make up stories and imagine things like having superpowers and then pretending to run around with their specific superpowers. Or, you know, as simple as pretending like a block is a phone and talking on the phone. You know, their imagination grows a lot during that stage. And so as much as there is the permanence of everything, there is also a developing understanding of their imagination and creativity.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, this is a stage where the importance of language is emerging. So how do you deal with the way that your children right now are grasping language and the concepts?
Yeah, like with my son, he obviously has a wide vocabulary. He's 4, and with it, I just talk to him like he is another person. I don't baby talk him. He wants to know how to say things correctly. He wants to enunciate. He wants to be able to communicate properly so that people understand him. So I've been teaching him how to describe things rather than say that, He would be like, I want that. And you're like, you got to describe it to me. And so he's like, I want the blue one, Being able to express themselves in a way that everybody can understand them makes them feel more respected as a person. And so teaching them from an early age how to talk to people is important.
What's your name?
Dana.
And where are you from?
Texas.
What part of Texas?
Kind of Dallas area. I'm from a smaller town on the outskirts, but yeah.
So this is your first time in New York City, right?
Yes.
And so this is your first week?
I'm on day 4.
Day 4. And I am so curious to know what your perceptions of New York are in terms of how people are socially compared to Texas.
Socially, it's a little similar, except that there's more anonymity here. People are driven by more of a getting from one place to the other. And I'm from a small town where people will go to Walmart just to visit. Like, you get there and they're like, what are you doing here? And you're like, what do you think I'm doing here? I'm here to shop. But they'll expect you to have your social moments there. They want to stop you, they want to talk to you, and they recognize you constantly. And so it's a very different dynamic. Here, they see hundreds of people per day. They talk to a huge amount, and there's the likelihood that I won't see them again. But making a good impression on that moment is so important. So just learning about people and talking to them has been a nice experience. And at the same time, being able to go from place to place without being stopped for conversation has also been a positive impact on me. And, you know, coming from Texas, New Yorkers have that stereotype. They're all rush, they're all business, they're all ambition, you know, and not that I was under that impression, but I get here and people are helpful, people are positive, they're happy to help you. I had to...
Especially with directions. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely.
They'll jump over another person just to give you the right directions.
I went to a coffee shop and I had seen the worker before. His name is Jay, and I had been to coffee there in the morning. And I saw him, he was still there in the evening. Whenever I was trying to find my way somewhere, I'd gotten a little turned around. I stopped in, I was like, I'm so sorry, but could you help me find this? And he immediately, he was at work, and he immediately just opened up the maps and found exactly what I was looking for and told me directions to it. And in Texas, that's not as likely. They just expect you to be able to take care of it yourself. There's a slightly less kind of, they're like, I'm here for my job, you know? And so it's been a beautiful experience and insightful.